Hi, everybody. Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome. All right, can you all hear me? Someone wave if you can hear me. All right. They can hear me over there. Can you guys hear me over there? No, you can't. They can't hear me over here. There must be some. Those guys can hear me. What about in the back? Can you guys in the back hear me? What about table 22? All right, we're good back there. You guys can hear me? All right, as you're all finding your seats, I'm very excited to welcome you all to Amazon Watch's 8th annual luncheon, our celebration, and our fundraiser for this good work. So it's awesome to hear so many of you as you take your seats. Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much. It's so good to see so many of my friends here and friends of Amazon Watch and some true Amazon warriors and many new faces. So I hope I'll have a chance to meet more of you. Please come find me. I'm very gregarious. We're really, really grateful that you've chosen to take this time today to be with us. This is the most important event of the year. And it's not just because we hope to raise $100,000 today. It's because we get to share with you and we get to inspire you. Over the next hour, you're going to hear some amazing stories. You'll be transported. You'll be shocked and delighted and, yes, inspired. I do want to take a brief moment to introduce Amazon Watch's staff and our board of directors, and also to acknowledge our table captains. So please hold your applause. As I just mentioned, our executive director and founder, Atosa Soltani, hold those applause. Our deputy director, Stephanie Willett, our online and operations director, Paul Paz Emino, program director, Leila Salazar Lopez, our Ecuador director, Kevin Koenig, our human rights campaigner, Adam Zuckerman, our communications director, Caroline Bennett, our amazing Brazil campaigner, Mayra Iragoay, our great executive enabler, Sarah Freeman, the inimitable and amazing Onyi Chukwuanu. Please stand up. And out there, somewhere in the world, is the great enabler, that's Sarah Freeman. We got to give her a big round at some point because she really carried this. And online, I know we've got Andrew Miller, the famous Amazon Miller, and we also have Christian Poirier, respectively in Washington, D.C. and Paris. A lot of rainforest saving actually gets done from Paris, believe it or not. And our board members who are here today, Richard Wegman, Ahmed Rahim, Ana Maria Mahiri, and Jeff Mendelson. I also want to have the host committee members please stand up, and if we could all give everyone a round of applause, that would be great. You guys are really doing a lot to help us expand our community and our circle, our reach, and our power. Thank you. I also want to mention our incredible special guest who's come all the way from the Xingu region, Mayalu Chukahamai, and you'll be hearing from her in a little bit. It's amazing to have you here with us today. So you'll be hearing about our campaign victories, our vision for the future, and what we're doing. Get ready. In the meantime, just real quick, I want to say hi to everybody online. So we have a mailing list now, which has grown from 40,000 to 250,000 in 2 years. A lot of them are online watching us. Big thanks to the Crestmont School, our great fundraisers, some of whom are sitting here with us today. And also, you guys online, there's a $10,000 match, so your donations today are doubled. So be inspired. With that, I just want to take a moment to introduce the person who's going to help us set the stage for our meal. Ana Maria Mahiri is a longtime board member, is of Colombian indigenous descent, and is going to kick us off with a beautiful blessing. and she's getting dressed in her magical ceremonial blanket. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you all, and an honor and a privilege to serve Amazon Watch on the board since 2006. And I want to thank you all for coming here, and all my loved ones that I see out there in the audience, my husband, my mom, and everybody. Beautiful Grandfather Creator, Grandmother Creator, come to you at this time, thanking you for this opportunity to be alive, thanking you for this opportunity to be here among your creation. Thank you, holy people, spirit people, for this opportunity to come and be part of this life that you've set out for us. Beautiful Creator, I want to ask you with the utmost respect and reverence, I ask you permission to come here and bless this space, asking permission of the ancestors, the Ohlone people whose land this is, asking permission of the holy people, asking permission of the four directions, of my ancestors and my lineage, of my Nasa people in Colombia. Ask your permission to come here and be here and say these words. Beautiful Creator, Madrecita Tonantzin, Grandmother Creator, ask you to bless our food that we're about to eat. And I ask you to bless our thoughts, our intentions, our desires for this day. I ask you to bless this beautiful earth that gives us so much. I ask you to bless our little babies and our elders and our medicine people, especially thinking about our future generations. My little child, my little 3-month-old baby, ask you to bless him. All the things that he's going to experience in this world. In the same way, ask you to bless all of our babies, all of our children, all of our grandchildren. And from here on to eternity, all of our great-grandchildren, all of our future offsprings, that we leave this world just a little bit better than the way we came into it. Beautiful Creator, holy people, beautiful Mother Earth, I speak to you today, asking you to bless the Amazon, bless the leadership, bless all of those people that have given their life and that put their life in the face of danger on behalf of their elders, on behalf of what is right, on behalf of the teachings that we have as indigenous people. Beautiful Creator, I ask you to bless the staff and the board and this organization, our funding, our goals, our dreams, our desires, our mission, our communication. I ask you to bless this organization, Amazon Watch, and that everybody in this room, as we take part in this celebration, we take part in this benefit, this fundraiser, that you allow us to move this money in service of our values, to touch our hearts and our generosity, to be able to give whatever we can, and to bless our prosperity, all of us, all around the world, Creator, so that we can give what we need to make this world a better place in all the different ways that we all work so hard for this money. I ask you to bless prosperity, abundance. At the same time, bless all of the cultivos, all of the abundance, all of the crops throughout this world. Everything that nourishes us, everything that gives us prosperity and abundance and love and our communication with one another, Creator. I thank you for this opportunity to come here and bless this space and be able to talk to you, Creator. I miss you. I miss you sometimes. I miss being able to talk to you, and I want to thank you for this opportunity this day to be connected to you. Beautiful Madrecita Tonantzin, beautiful Earth, beautiful Grandfather. Thank you so much for this life. Aho Matakease.
Aho, and thank you. Before we dive in, let's dig in. You've got great people at your tables. There's good food on its way. So we'll give you a chance to eat, and buen provecho. And while you're at it, you might turn your cell phones off.
Aquí hemos nacido. Esta es nuestra casa. Se ubica en Ecuador, en la región amazónica. Este es nuestro territorio ancestral. Hemos vivido aquí desde tiempos inmemoriales. En 2002, una compañía petrolera ingresó a nuestras tierras. El gobierno le había dado una licencia para explotar petróleo. Nosotros nos enteramos por el ruido de los helicópteros que aterrizaban en nuestro territorio.
Señores, buenos días. Tengan la bondad de bajarse, salen a pie hasta que la canoa cruce. Tengan la bondad, por favor.
Allá, primero yo estoy documentando, por favor.
Toda nuestra vida se vio afectada en esos meses. No se molestaron en averiguar si este proyecto estaba de acuerdo con nuestras tradiciones y con nuestro modo de vida.
Siempre hemos visto en otras comunidades cuando entran abusivamente las empresas, destruyen el hogar, destruyen las comunidades.
Nosotros en Sarayaku decidimos que no podíamos dejar que esta injusticia se hiciera realidad. Con nuestras acciones llegamos hasta la Corte Interamericana de Derechos Humanos. Está en Costa Rica.
Vamos a mostrar que aquellos pueblos que han llorado, aquellos pueblos que han sido marginados, aquellos pueblos que lo han maltratado, lo han humillado, el pueblo de Sarayaku va a decir basta.
¿Qué va a pasar ahora cuando lleguemos a Costa Rica? Tendremos éxito con nuestro viaje.
Dizem que Belo Monte é desenvolvimento, mas não é nada de desenvolvimento. Essa porcaria dessa barragem que chega aqui e vem destruir a terra dos outros, destruiu a minha casa, destruiu a casa de muitas pessoas que moram aqui.
Para acabar com os povos indígenas, para acabar com os ribeirinhos, com os peixes, com a floresta, com a terra, com o próprio rio.
Mas daqui eu tirei a minha sobrevivência, daqui eu tirei minha alegria, daqui eu tirei tudo.
Veio acabar com nossa paz, nossa tranquilidade.
Um belo monte de mentiras.
E isso que veio aí, veio destruir sonhos de pessoas da região aqui.
É um grande câncer no nosso Xingu. Representa para mim uma cruz muito pesada. Como ela é tão pesada, nós precisamos de muita gente para ajudar a carregá-la.
Belo monte de mortes.
Os povos indígenas estão sendo massacrados.
O planeta todo também está morrendo.
São vários projetos ligados a esse projeto aqui, mineração, outras barragens.
Belo monte de corrupção.
Estão destruindo tudo para desenvolver o quê, né? A nossa presidente repensasse nesse caso dessa barragem, que não vai trazer benefício nenhum para os altamirenses, a não ser a destruição.
A floresta está sendo destruída.
E destruindo os povos do Xingu, destrói o meio ambiente.
Belo monte de destruição.
Tá aí, tá acabando com tudo, tá destruindo tudo, destruindo a vida das pessoas, destruindo tudo que a gente, todos os nossos sonhos, todo o nosso trabalho.
A cidade não é mais nossa, infelizmente.
Ela vive dizendo na televisão, está trabalhando para tirar a miséria do Brasil, mas ela está querendo colocar a gente na miséria.
Esse rio, para mim, ele foi meu pai. Ele foi meu tudo. Não tem mais como sorrir assim do coração, não.
Triste, eu acho que não tem nada pior do que se matar um povo estando ele vivo, sabe?
Porque pra mim essa barragem de Belo Monte é uma desgraça na minha vida.
Isso que significa Belo Monte.
Meu nome é Hélio Alves da Silva, sou pescador há 25 anos e sempre vivi da pesca. Esse aqui é um dos pontos que eu mais pesquei, né? Sabe, eu aprendi a pescar e desde de pequeno que eu sempre gostei de estar pescando. Hoje é diferente, bem diferente. Tá no meu trabalho que eu gosto de fazer e no final do dia ou final qualquer hora do dia eu tá com meus amigos, que é o que eu mais gostava, né? Tá assim do lado dos meus amigos, conversando com eles. Como o tempo muda as coisas, né? E algumas coisas mudaram a minha vida. Hoje, né? Assim, me tiraram do rio, me colocaram para mexer com cacau, uma coisa que eu nunca fiz, não sei fazer. E com isso eu estou sofrendo muito, sabe, essa mudança de vida. De pescador para lavrador, para agricultor, coisas assim. E aí a minha vida hoje está sendo muito diferente do que era antes, né? Hoje eu não tenho mais, vamos dizer assim, alegria. Para mim, isso não é viver. Para mim é ver o tempo passar e você ficar. Esse rio para mim ele foi meu pai, ele foi meu tudo. Mas daqui eu tirei a minha sobrevivência, daqui eu tirei minha alegria, daqui eu tirei tudo, sabe? Daqui eu tirava tudo. Desse rio eu tirava para pagar minhas contas, desse rio eu tirava para minha comida, desse rio eu tirava para mim pagar a farmácia. E desse rio eu tirava para mim brincar, sabe? Eu nunca abusei desse rio. Eu sempre desfrutei dele com o maior respeito. É assim, igual todo mundo que morava aqui fazia isso. No Xingu tem água limpa, tinha água limpa, água cristalina, que eu digo para vocês porque eu mergulhei 11 anos aqui. Tem ouro, tem peixe artesanal e peixe ornamental. Aqui tem peixe nesse rio que no mundo inteiro só existe nele, que é o cari-zebra. Não tem em outro rio nenhum no planeta. A minha comunidade era a comunidade de Santo Antônio, né? A qual que eu ajudei a construir. Eu morei 32 anos nela e construí minha família. E aí já estava vindo os meus netos, né? E sendo criado tudo lá. Porque quando nós começamos ali, só era mato. E quando acabou, ali tinha 60 famílias, ali tinha igreja evangélica, ali tinha igreja católica, ali tinha colégio, ali tinha campo de futebol. Mas a gente, mesmo assim, sem muitas condições, sem ter dinheiro, mas a gente era feliz. Porque a gente durou tanto tempo para fazer isso e depois, dentro de tão pouco tempo, a gente vê ser destruído. O dia que eu coloquei as minhas coisas em cima de um carro para sair dali, parecia que a minha vida estava acabando ali. O que aconteceu é que chegou a Norte Energia, que é considerado por governo um empreendimento muito bom, muito grande. Esse empreendimento acabou com a vida das pessoas que aqui moram, né, que moravam aqui. A gente tinha sonho de ver nossos filhos ter uma vida melhor do que a da gente, né? Mas esse sonho acabou. Acabou porque isso que veio aí, veio destruir sonhos de pessoas, todas as pessoas da região aqui. Então isso, incluindo o meu sonho, o sonho dos meus amigos, das pessoas que viviam em volta, isso desceu de água abaixo. E aí eu me senti assim muito para baixo quando eu vi a minha comunidade acabar. E é o que a gente vê hoje, as pessoas reclamando, né, e sem saber aonde pegar, porque não adianta a gente recorrer. Toda porta que você bate, a resposta é simplesmente eu não posso resolver o teu problema. E esse empreendimento que a gente fala, que a gente chama de dragão, tá aí, tá acabando com tudo, tá destruindo a vida das pessoas, destruindo tudo que a gente, todos os nossos sonhos, todo o nosso trabalho. Quem manda é o homem da lei. Enquanto que esse homem da lei parece que não tem filho, parece que nunca teve família, parece que ou essas pessoas que estão no poder comendo o nosso dinheiro, comendo o nosso suor para nos matar. O que eu sinto hoje, sabe, é assim, muita amargura, muita tristeza, às vezes, e raiva acima de tudo. Futuro pela frente, eu por enquanto eu ainda não vejo. A única coisa que nós temos a fazer é confiar em Deus e ir à luta. O que foi que eu fiz, né? O que faltou eu fazer? Não, eu às vezes as pessoas me veem sorrindo, mas é aquele sorriso que nem eu sempre falo. Ele não vem de dentro mais. Não tem mais como sorrir assim do coração, não.
I didn't acknowledge Sarah Weaver. I acknowledged Sarah Freeman twice, and I would be nothing if it weren't for Sarah Weaver. So let it be known that I have adjusted that. I also wanted to let you know, sorry about the slow coming on the food, and in order to compensate for that, we shall make some special things happen. So please continue, food's on its way, and we'll be beginning shortly.
Dear guests, please draw your attention to the screens for this year's Amazon Watch video presentation.
7 billion people now share this magnificent biosphere we call planet Earth. At its equator, an emerald green belt of tropical rainforest is critical to maintain the planet's fragile balance. The world's rainforest is the Amazon, often likened to the lungs of our living, breathing planet. Whether we know it or not, each of the 7 billion people on Earth counts on the vast Amazon rainforest to regulate our planet's climate, absorbing carbon dioxide and generating a full fifth of the world's oxygen and fresh water. The biological riches of the Amazon are unsurpassed, with an unfathomable diversity of birds and animals, insects and fish, trees and plants. Countless species are yet to be discovered, possibly holding the key to curing illnesses such as cancer and AIDS. The Amazon rainforest: medicine, oxygen, water, food, life. Yes, life-giving, climate-saving, treasure-thing, threatened by industrial civilization's voracious appetite for its resources. Pipelines and oil roads slice into the rainforest, opening it to logging, mining, and oil drilling. Massive dams, industrial plantations, and cattle grazing bring further devastation. Deforestation in the Amazon now releases more carbon than U.S. automobiles. But locals stand against this destruction, and they need our help now more than ever before. The indigenous people of the Amazon are on the front lines, forest guardians defending their culture and communities while protecting the precious forests. Amazon Watch has stood with these proud stewards of the rainforest, building unprecedented alliances, stopping destructive projects, and fighting for a more just and sustainable future.
Queremos que nuestras madres, nuestras abuelas y nuestras hijas, nuestros hijos, podamos vivir una vida más digna y posible para esta generación.
Brazil. Amazon Watch is standing with the indigenous and riverine communities along the Xingu, fighting a monstrous mega dam planned for this tributary of the mighty Amazon. This high-profile battle between destructive development and the potential of a green energy future for Brazil is galvanizing millions around the world. In Peru, Amazon Watch is helping the Atwater of the Corrientes River Basin demand cleanup of widespread oil pollution.
Atwater have suffered 35 years of contamination.
While standing with other Achuar communities who have witnessed oil's toxic legacy in the rainforest and are saying no to oil drilling in their pristine ancestral territory. Ecuador, Amazon Watch has been at the forefront of the fight to hold oil giant Chevron accountable for its devastation of the rainforest. An $18 billion court verdict against the company in 2011 sent shockwaves through the industry, and Amazon Watch is committed to standing with the communities of the Ecuadorian Amazon until they get justice. In Colombia, Amazon Watch has long stood with the Uwa people, who successfully resisted Occidental Petroleum's plan to drill in their territory, inspiring them with their courage and commitment. Across the Amazon basin, in corporate boardrooms and in the face of powerful interests, Amazon Watch has proven a force to be reckoned with.
And our sense is, as go these groups, essentially goes the Amazon, and that has global implications.
And today, Amazon Watch is advancing the rights of local communities, helping to build a global movement of forest guardians, bringing clean water to oil-ravaged communities, and promoting renewable energy for the Amazon. The Amazon and its inhabitants face an alarming convergence of threats. Now more than ever, they and we need your help. For the sake of indigenous people, whose cultures have much to teach our modern world about living in harmony with the earth, and whose very survival hangs in the balance. For the sake of our global climate, the air we breathe, the water that makes life possible on this majestic planet. For the sake of future generations, Amazon Watch needs your support. Learn how you can help at AmazonWatch.org.
We cover a lot of ground, you and I and we. I hope that inspires and makes you all feel really proud for what we're achieving together. It's a very special privilege to introduce a very special guy who's come all the way from the land of the long white cloud, Aotearoa, to celebrate our wonderful founder and ED. So I'd like to call our friend Mark Prain, the Executive Director of the Hillary Institute, to the stage. Please welcome Mark Prain.
Thank you for those kind words, Brendan. In the language of the first people of my country, Aotearoa, New Zealand, kia ora tātou, and it's a great privilege and pleasure to be here with you today in support of the wonderful work of Amazon Watch. I would like to bring you greetings from my board across 5 continents, many of whom will be known to you, but I won't go through them. Suffice to say that the Hillary Institute, founded in the name of New Zealand's most famous global citizen, Sir Edmund Hillary, the first man to climb Mount Everest, was established a year before Ed died to honor his global legacy of leadership. That board across the world decided that the question, leadership in what, should be answered in our first 4 years of life by one of the most fundamental challenges we all face as a global community, and they chose leadership in climate change. In 2012, they had a choice to make after 4 years of work in that space as to whether they would change the focus for the ensuing 4 years. They did, but they chose to change it only in terms of nuance from climate change to climate equity. And in that context, our search for exceptional leaders in mid-career who are making a profound difference has led us today to a remarkable woman whom you all know and love, Atossa Sultani. Atossa joins 4 other laureates in this space. The first is Jeremy Leggett of the UK, who runs Europe's largest solar company, Solar City, and is a preeminent author and media engager across Europe. In 2010, we named Peggy Liu from China, who runs an organization called JUICE, which is basically about creating a new China dream, if you will, for developing economies. Amy Christensen from the US in 2011, President Anote Tong of Kiribati in 2012, and please join me in welcoming now to the stage to accept her award, your own Atossa Sultani, the Hillary Global Laureate of 2013.
Thank you, Mark. I hold this award on behalf of the forest guardians who have had the honor to conspire with and who inspire me immensely. And really, it's on behalf of the entire team at Amazon Watch that I just hold this award for all of those champions why we exist. I just want to name a few of them. Just so you all know, some of you may know these folks, some of you not, but I just want to name them. Lili La Torre, Esperanza Martinez, Chief Haoni, Sheila Juruna, Patricia Gualinga, Antonia Melo, Marina Silva, Berito Kuarua, and many, many others. And my teachers, Randy Hayes, and John Seed, and Mike Rozelle. And ultimately, I just also want to honor and remember some really incredible, dear, departed friends, people who gave their lives to this work. It's for them I hold this award. And those are Jeremy Pastor and Terrence Freitas, Glenn Switkus, and our dear beloved Rebecca Tarbutton. I hold you, and I know you're out there helping us from the other side. This award is for you. Thank you all. You are my community, and I'm just so grateful you're all here. The rainforest is said to be the lungs of the earth, but indigenous peoples and many of the communities I work with call it the heart of the planet. The Amazon is the heart of the world, and these are the guardians of the heart of the planet. Being from Iran, I grew up in an arid environment, so the Amazon was this incredibly, amazing, mythical place. And when I finally got to go there for the first time, about 20-some years ago, my first day in Manu National Park, I saw a harpy eagle, which is a pretty amazing creature. And then that evening, as the light was fading, a jaguar ran through our camp, believe it or not, my first night in the forest. And the amazing thing was these are the two animals I had on my wall for the year before. And so for me, it was like, okay, this is a sign from the universe. I am going to walk this path, and I'm hoping the universe will be there to support me. And it's been like that ever since the last 17 years. So yeah, I would just say that Amazon Watch, we've been standing, as you saw in the video, with indigenous peoples on the front lines. I'm really proud of our team. We have an incredible, savvy, talented, passionate, talented team in Ecuador, in the US, and now in Europe and Washington. Really, we are now, as you heard from Brandon, a global network of supporters like yourself, 250,000 people, 250,000 people who are reading and taking action and really being a part of this movement. So it's incredible, it's an honor, and I think we are making a significant difference. So researchers agree the most effective way to protect the rainforest is to support the rights of indigenous peoples. And these are the stewards. And for them, the Amazon is a quarter of the rainforest. 1/4 of the Amazon is indigenous territories. I met an elder medicine man in Ecuador last month in July when I was there, and he knows 1,500 medicinal plants. He can identify them, he can find them, he knows their properties, and he's in his 80s. And really, I think about the traditional knowledge of these scientists, and I think about how much humanity needs to value these places. Wade Davis, the acclaimed author, coined the term the ethnosphere to add to the biosphere. And this is really the collection of thoughts, dreams, ideas, beliefs, knowledge systems that we are losing so fast. And we have so much to learn and so much to, act. Really, what do we do, Amazon Watch? We have two-pronged strategy. We work on the ground in the Amazon with these communities, and we we help support these communities in building their own capacity to stand for their own rights. And here in the US, the center of so much of the destruction, we pick on 2 or 3 global precedent-setting campaigns where we can really make a difference, not only for the places where we're fighting to protect, but also to set a precedent that have implications elsewhere. really today is an opportunity to celebrate some of our achievements, and I would like to just tell you about a couple of our priorities. And of course, I'm so delighted, Mayalu Chukahamai, who I've had a pleasure of being with the last week, traveling around the US, is here with us all the way. She came so far from the Xingu region to be with us. So in Brazil, starting there in Brazil, we're working to shift Brazil's energy vision, the electricity matrix, away from large dams and in favor of alternatives and like clean renewable energy. Really large dams are purported to be clean, but in fact, the methane emissions from the decomposing vegetation of a large reservoir dam makes large dams equal to emissions of a coal power plant. Yeah, I was really surprised to learn that too. And in fact, Brazil claims to be, having a low impact energy sector, and that is not the case. We're also seeing that these large dams are threatening huge areas of the Amazon. There are dams planned for every major tributary. We're currently fighting the largest dam under construction today in the world, the Belo Monte Dam, on the Xingu River. And you'll hear more about that from Leila, our program director, when she's up here. But I just want to tell you what our impact has been. Yes, the dam's being constructed, unfortunately, but our resistance and our support of local communities has helped to delay these dams for over a year and cost the companies over $1 billion in cost overruns. And this is a significant impact. What we're seeing is, in the last year, there's been 9 indigenous and local community blockades and occupations. There are 19 lawsuits pending, including one at the Supreme Court. And we feel that this moment is a really critical moment for the future of the Amazon. This is a defining battle. And so what we've seen as a result is that all the discourse has helped drive the debate around renewable energy. Wind power is now cheaper than large hydro, and we're seeing that solar, for the first time, will compete in this year's energy auction, electricity auction this fall in Brazil. This is a significant shift. So in Ecuador, I want to tell you, last year you met the amazing leaders from Sarayaku. This is the community that, despite all the odds, had basically managed to win a battle to stop the intrusion of oil companies in their land. This year they were, I was there in their community in July on the day when the government announced that it was going to comply with the court sentence. And I just got to watch these leaders get in their canoes and float down the river and go 7 hours down the river to then make their trip to Quito for a victory press conference. And I just felt so moved and so proud that we had been there. We had been among many other groups like Pachamama and others accompanying these communities over these last 10 years to this day of victory. So that was an incredibly satisfying moment. So I just want to, as I bring my comments to a close, there's so much to tell you and there's so little time. I know that we have a great program ahead and I don't want to take too much time, but really one of the big battlegrounds, I want to show you some of the maps, is over the Yasuni National Park. And if we could just pull up the maps, I want to tell you that, the next one please. This is an area, one of the most biodiverse areas on the planet. The president of Ecuador had committed to leave the oil in the ground, literally 1 billion barrels of oil underground. And this is what we need to do. 2/3, we know from James Hansen and the reports that have come out, 2/3 of all oil and gas and fossil coal reserves must stay in the ground if we want to prevent a 2 degree Celsius rise in global temperatures. If we want to just have a 2 degree Celsius rise, if we don't want to go above that, we really need to leave 2/3 of all proven reserves that have already been found in the ground. So why is the industry spending billions of dollars looking for new reserves in one of the most biodiverse places? We believe this was a visionary, pioneering proposal to leave the oil in the ground, and the president basically reneged on his commitment recently and is planning on opening this up to drilling. Let's look at the next map. I just want to show you, this is the map of biodiversity in the Americas. And the color red is where there is the highest level of biodiversity in the Americas and in the world, actually. And when you look at this closely in the next slide, you will see that Yasuni National Park, the area that's outlined in the middle of the heart of the red, that is where drilling is happening. Also, the Ecuadorian government is planning to open up some 6.5 million acres, pretty much the entire red region in Ecuador and the entire red region in Peru are being planned for oil drilling. Some is already happening and a lot is at stake over the next 12 months. The oil auction in Ecuador, the deadline is the 28th. We've already delayed it. We've already delayed it for the last year several times. There's been street protests and there's been incredible amount of, we've gone everywhere. The government of Ecuador has gone to auction in Beijing, in Calgary, in Houston, in Paris. We were there with indigenous communities saying this is illegal, this is our land, this is the indigenous lands, and this oil should be left underground. We should not be drilling in these headwaters, these sacred headwaters of the Amazon, where you find the greatest amount of species diversity. We should not be there doing drilling for what amounts to a few days of the global oil supply, when we can't even afford, if we were to leave 2/3 of the oil in the ground to protect, to really deal with our climate, that 2/3 should at least target the most biodiverse regions of the world and where indigenous communities are saying no. There's 7 nationalities on the Ecuadorian side who are affected, and at least that many on the Peruvian side. So the next slide, I just want to show you, this is the last one I will show, and this is the map of existing and future oil blocks, as you see. The gray areas are what we're still fighting, and the yellow areas what we're trying to limit and also get the companies to leave. We have a huge challenge ahead of us, and this is the moment for the Amazon. There is hope, and everywhere we invest, we see results. It's a matter of scaling up our work. We know this model works, this alliance, global alliance, supporting rainforest stewards, promoting economic alternatives, standing up to a big oil industry. We know this work makes a difference, and we just need support. We need to grow our movement. We really are calling for a moratorium on all future oil and gas exploration, infrastructure, and drilling in these sacred headwaters. We're really calling for an international mechanism. After all, we contribute to climate emissions. We should be helping fund an offset fund to help these companies, these governments forego drilling these reserves and to keep the oil in reserve underground. Yasuni failed because we didn't support it. The global community did not support this pioneering proposal. But it's not over. We've launched a global petition. The people are putting the issue on a referendum in Ecuador. We think we can generate enough momentum to actually have a popular vote on whether there should be drilling in Yasuni. We need your help to do that, and I hope every one of you will sign the petition and spread the word. This place is worth saving. As I mentioned, moving Brazil beyond large dams is a priority, and ultimately upholding the rights of indigenous peoples to free and prior informed consent is a mission that we are very committed to. So, we can't do this without you. You are our community. You are the heart of the movement for the heart of the planet. And I think the future generations will look back and say, did we do enough? Did we take enough action? Were we bold enough? Did we rise to the occasion fast enough? And did we do all we could in our power to stand up to this destructive model and defend the web of life on this planet? I say let's make them proud. Thank you. Okay, now it's my honor to call to stage Leila Salazar, Amazon Watch's Program Director. Leila has been directing our programs at Amazon Watch for the last 3 years, and before that she was the first campaigner to take on Chevron in Ecuador for 4 years. Her leadership is really incredibly amazing and is a huge part of the great work Amazon Watch's team does, and I'm personally really inspired by her commitment, her passion, and she's brilliant, kick-ass campaigner. Thank you, Leila.
Oops. Thank you, Atosa, and to all of you. As you've already seen and heard, our work this year is really focused on the Western Amazon, the tropical Andes region of the Western Amazon, and in Brazil. I want to tell you a little more about our work in Brazil and what we're doing to defend rainforests, rivers, and rights. A couple things about Brazil before I continue. A couple stats that you should remember. The majority of the Amazon is in Brazil. Nearly half of the Brazilian Amazon is in protected areas. But largely due to growing deforestation and energy production, Brazil is the third largest global greenhouse emitter in the world. This is according to the International Energy Agency. Earlier this month, Brazil's climate change panel predicted that if nothing is done to change this, rainfall will decrease by 45% in the Amazon. And the Amazon will slowly convert into a vast savanna. This would obviously be very devastating for the environment and for the people who live there. And also, obviously, for our global climate, as the Amazon regulates our global weather system. So why is Brazil promoting and financing mega dams throughout the Amazon? They say that it is for economic development and to meet growing energy needs. We've seen that plan implemented all over the world, and frankly, it doesn't work. We know that there's another way. We're challenging mega dams in the Amazon, supporting on-the-ground resistance, and we're promoting clean energy solutions, as you've already heard. We're continuing to challenge the construction of the Belo Monte Dam on the Xingu River. This is a critical battleground for the future of the Amazon and indigenous people's rights. We still believe that we can stop Belo Monte. Do you believe that we can stop Belo Monte? All right. We got to keep the hope alive. We think that we can stop Belo Monte by continuing to support the on-the-ground resistance, including the occupations that cause the delays and expose the devastating impacts of the dam. We're calling for justice now. We're calling for these unresolved cases. As you heard, there's 19, and there's one at the Supreme Court. We need the Supreme Court to rule on these cases, and we're going to be in Brasilia next week, pressuring them to do so. While construction of the main dam has begun, the thing that you also have to remember is Belo Monte is a series of dams. It's not just one dam. It's a series of dams all across the Xingu, starting at the big bend of the Xingu River, which is happening now, unfortunately. But it goes to the upper Xingu all the way to the Xingu Indigenous Park. We're supporting the growing on-the-ground network of communities resisting the destructive dams throughout the Amazon, including the Munduruku people from the Tapajós River Basin. Next week, we'll be on the ground in Brazil, joining a mass mobilization for indigenous people's rights. Indigenous people's rights are fiercely under attack right now by the Brazilian Congress. If they get their way, existing protections will be gutted and new demarcations of ancestral territories will come to a halt. This would be a disaster for indigenous peoples who are seeking permanent protection of their ancestral territories, including the Kayapo from the upper Xingu. This is where Mayalu is from. She's our guest of honor today, which I'm going to introduce momentarily. Lastly, we're also working with a growing network of Brazilian and international allies to shift Brazil's energy matrix towards energy efficiency and clean, renewable energy instead of destructive, dirty energy projects in the Amazon. Not only is this possible, it's necessary. If we want to reduce emissions and change the predictions of Brazil's climate change panel, we need to change this. We need to do this now. If anyone knows anyone on this panel, if anyone knows, speak up, please, because we need a champion. We need someone like James Hansen in Brazil that's not only going to take a stand, but is going to take action. So remember, if you know anybody on Brazil's climate change panel, let us know. Our goal is to promote an alternative vision for Brazil. We can't do this alone. We have to do it with our partners in Brazil. We have to do it with the international community. We want Brazil to meet its energy needs, but without building destructive dams. We're embarking on an innovative national communications campaign featuring Brazilian celebrities to inform public opinion, stimulate public debate, and promote democratic participation in Brazil's energy future. I'm really excited to announce the production of our first ad is going to begin in October. Our plan is to release a series of ads over the next year leading to the World Cup and the presidential election next year. And we're counting on your support to help us share the ads and influence change. Brazil is at a crossroads. Will it continue on the path of environmental destruction, increasing global greenhouse gas emissions, and attacks on indigenous rights? Or will it shift course and lead the region on a path of clean energy and respect for rights? For the rainforests, for the rivers, for our future generations, we hope that it's the latter. Join us in harnessing that hope. Thank you. So now I'd like to welcome two Amazon women warriors to the stage. Mayra Irigaray Castro is our Brazil program coordinator. We're really grateful that Mayra dropped a promising career in acting to become a human rights lawyer and a tireless campaigner for the Amazon. Mayalu Chukahamayen is our special guest from the Brazilian Amazon. She is the first Kayapo Waura indigenous woman leader from the Xingu Indigenous Park to travel internationally to speak out. She's a proud mother of two, the daughter of Chief Megaron, and the grandniece of legendary Chief Hauni, who she calls her grandfather. We are so honored that she's here today. Please help me welcome her again.
Amacrimei e Benedina Mayalu cometi o Aurátio Carramãe. Sou do Xingu, a maior terra indígena já demarcada.
She's saying in her language, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mayalu Wauraka Cometitu Carramãe, and I'm from the Xingu, the biggest indigenous park demarcated in the world.
Sou filha do Megaron, o maior líder do povo Kayapó, e neta do Raoni, que vem protegendo há vários anos. Os seus 85 anos, ele veio protegendo o nosso povo.
And I'm daughter of Chief Megaron, one of the biggest chiefs in Brazil, and also granddaughter of Chief Hauni that have been fighting for indigenous rights for 85 years.
E para dar essa continuidade à nossa cultura, à nossa terra, aos nossos rios, eu estou aqui, sozinha, num mundo que eu não conheço, para defender o meu povo.
And so I can keep this fight, this struggle for our rights. I'm here by myself in this place that I never met before to speak for you.
Hoje, nossa terra está sendo ameaçada por barragem, ameaçada por fazendeiro, ameaçada por garimpeiro. E hoje, as maiores empresas de mineradora também estão ameaçando nossas terras.
Today, our lands are threatened by dams, by miners. The biggest mining companies are also now threatening our lands.
Está ameaçando o rio, que é a maior importância que os povos indígenas já têm, que é o mercado nosso.
And it's threatening the river,
that is the most important things we have in our lives. It's our supermarket.
É Ele que nos dá a vida, é Ele que equilibra a nossa terra, é Ele que dá a sobrevivência de cada povo que mora, que depende do rio Xingu.
Our lives depend on the Xingu River. It gives us life, it sustains our life.
É por isso que nós devemos proteger ela, porque é ela que nos dá o nosso sustento. Nós devemos respeitar o rio, nós devemos respeitar nossas florestas.
And it also brings the balance to earth. That's why we need to protect it. We need to protect this river that sustains our lives.
Mas o governo está desrespeitando todos os nossos direitos, violando todas essa necessidade que nós sentimos. O meu povo não sabe viver na cidade.
And the government is disrespecting all of our rights. We don't know how to live in the city.
É por isso que eu estou aqui. Com a ajuda da Amazon Watch, nós viemos resistindo, porque o governo virou as costas, o povo brasileiro virou as costas para o povo indígena.
And that's why I'm here, with the support of Amazon Watch, because the Brazilian people, they turned their back on us.
É por isso que nós precisamos muito de apoio internacional, precisamos da ajuda de vocês, precisamos de apoio para que nós continuemos vivos, para que nós continuemos existindo.
And that's why we need international support so much. We need your support so we can keep fighting and that we can keep being alive as well.
E o que me motiva hoje é os meus filhos que precisam de uma esperança de futuro melhor para eles.
And what gives me motive to be here today are my kids. Their future is what motivates me to be fighting for this.
E para finalizar a minha apresentação, eu fico deixo com vocês a frase de um grande ambientalista, que não é índio, mas que também percebeu que ele tinha que fazer algo pelo meio ambiente.
To finalize my speech, I want to leave you with a phrase of a big environmentalist that was not indigenous, but also realized that this fight was important.
O nome dele é Chico Mendes. Ele morreu pelo meio ambiente, defendendo a floresta.
His name is Chico Mendes, and he died protecting the environment.
No começo, eu pensei que estivesse lutando pelas seringueiras.
In the beginning, I thought I was fighting for the rubber trees.
Depois, pensei que estivesse lutando pela floresta amazônica.
Then I thought I was fighting for the Amazon rainforest.
E hoje percebi que eu luto pela humanidade.
And today I realize I'm fighting for humanity.
E hoje estou aqui lutando pela humanidade, porque o Xingu, a floresta amazônica, não ajuda só povos indígenas. Ele equilibra e vocês dependem da floresta também.
And I'm here doing this. I'm fighting for humanity because the Xingu River and our forest is not only important for us. You depend on this as well.
E eu estou aqui para pedir que, por favor, nos ajude a lutar contra a barragem, nos ajude a defender nosso território.
And I ask you, please help us to fight against dams and to fight for protection of our territories.
Meu povo depende de vocês. Meu povo precisa da terra para viver.
My people depend on you. My people depend and need the earth to survive.
E muito obrigada pela atenção.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayalu. I had the good fortune to travel with Mayalu last week as well, and Atosa. They were presenting at the Women's Earth and Climate Caucus in New York, and there's nothing quite as strange as seeing the lights of Times Square reflected in the faces of indigenous people from the rainforest. So, I remember when Mike said to me once when we were having an amazing experience doing what we do, saying, "You believe this is what we do for a living?" I want to now call to the stage two truly excellent beings. Peter Coyote, noted actor, author, activist, and honorary board member of Amazon Watch, as well as Richard Wegman, our board chair and the executive director of Global Green. Please.
Tenho saudade do Brasil. Thank you. Obrigado. So whenever a meeting begins with a prayer, and when you have someone speak like Mayalu, it invests the gathering with a really high seriousness. And I know we're all happy to be here, and we're all happy to see each other, and we all cooperate in this wonderful work that we do. But in the spirit of that high seriousness, I want to take just a minute and call in all the ancestors as witnesses, and call in all the beings, the walking beings, the flying beings, the crawling beings, all of them, to this lunch, to be here, to witness what we say and do. Because that's truly the web of life that we're a part of. And my compañeras and compañeros here today, we're in a funny position. Because Mayalu has her feet planted on the web of life that supports this crazy culture, where we've inverted the value systems, where we've put the marketplace above the web of life. And so we're reduced to giving money, in many cases, as our only form of contribution. And it's an impoverished form of contribution. And so one of the things that I like to challenge all my friends and myself to do is to say, how can we do more? There are no mosquitoes in this room. I'll bet none of us have parasites. When we get sick, we go to a clean hospital. We came here in fast cars and electric trains and bicycles on good roads, fairly certain that we'd be protected by the police in the event of trouble. And all of this is made possible by the great wealth that we've extracted from the web of life. And all of this wealth comes from the web of life on our own continent and all over the world. From the oil fields in Somalia, in the Amazon, in Saudi Arabia, everywhere. And not just Americans, all people living in this mercantile, money-oriented culture are eating the web of life. And there's no way to avoid it, but we can diminish the size of the bites we take. And so one of the things that I would like to remind us of today is that we are existing on the backs of countless plants and animals and people and trees. And I know I feel like the hitman at a bar mitzvah because these are the people that are doing most, and it's not enough. Because the dirty secret of the environmental movement, the real dirty secret of the environmental movement, is that there's nothing about our culture that's sustainable. So until, it's okay, you all know it. So until we figure out how to diminish our net calories of energy per person, and do so without descending to squalor, and do so in a way that's elegant, I have to include myself as the problem. I flipped the same light switch as the president of Chevron. I used the same gasoline, although not his. I was lucky enough to meet Kit Taylor and Vincent Siciliano today at my table. 2 banks. I no longer have to keep my money at Wells Fargo. I can go to banks. I can get a credit card that will turn my economy towards these purposes that we all serve. And I can do other things, which I'm going to urge you to do today. I can keep my car 1, 2, 3, 10 years longer, and I can give that money to Amazon Watch. I can keep my refrigerator. I can change my light bulbs and use less energy. I can try to lower my footprint, not only so I start taking smaller bites of the planet, but so that I have more resources to share. None of us have parasites. None of our children are drinking toxic water. None of our children have exotic cancers. And yet the power that powers our society is wreaking that on Mayalu and the people of Ecuador and the Amazon. So the hitman at the bar mitzvah is saying to himself first, what can I do? So since I mentioned the Amazon and Yasuni, I want to give you a second to recover. And I want to ask Mike Brune, who's the new executive director of the Sierra Club, to say a few words on that issue. Mike?
Sure. Thanks, Peter. Thank you, Peter. My heart is thumping right now because how important this moment is. I want to say 2 quick things. One, having been to the Xingu River, having been to Yasuni, I wanted to testify personally what an exquisitely urgent challenge it is for us to protect both places and the Amazon. But I wanted to bring it home a little bit first, because here in California, here in the United States, we have faced similar struggles and we've prevailed. It would be outlandish, it would be insulting to suggest that we should clear-cut Yosemite Valley. But that was what was being proposed almost a century ago. And people rallied around, we fought the proposal, I wasn't around then, but we won. It would have been similarly insulting, just as outrageous to consider putting a dam in the middle of the Grand Canyon. But we rallied and we won. And so Atosa a couple minutes ago talked about how this is our moment and this is a great challenge. I would say that it's also a great opportunity for us to utilize this movement that has been built globally over the last decade to unite around a single cause. We should be able to rally together and say it is outrageous to consider drilling in one of the most biodiverse, beautiful, ecologically irreplaceable places on the planet, and we won't allow it to happen. There are hundreds of millions of people like us around the world who care and who will fight for a world that's better and more just. We need to work together and we should win these fights. But we should also turn these fights into global icons, because we can't fight every single drilling project. We can't fight every single pipeline, every single fracking site, every single mining and logging site, all at the same time. We have to turn all of society away from these projects altogether. Icons like these are important. They're important symbols for where society needs to move away from. Second thing I want to say is that before I joined the Sierra Club, I worked at Rainforest Action Network for a while and had the great pleasure of sharing an office with the folks at Amazon Watch. I just wanted to say that when we come to an event like this, we hear about the issues on which folks are working. We get a chance to meet some of the allies of Amazon Watch, but rarely do we focus so much on the people. And that's why I thought it was great to have Atosa be honored here today. The people at Amazon Watch are artists at social change. If there was an Olympics held every year for do-gooders, for environmental heroes, Amazon Watch would be bringing home medals every time. If there was a World Series, it's true. Atosa and Brandon and Kevin and Layla and Paul, the whole Amazon Watch team are some of the most hardworking, sophisticated, strategic, smart, clever, funny, underpaid people in the movement. If there was a World Series for corporate ass kicking, we'd be having a ticker tape parade down Market Street for the folks at Amazon Watch. So the one thing I want to say, the one misperception that I want to say is that I don't think that Atosa personally is in her mid-career moment. I think she's just getting started. And I think that we are going to build a clean energy society in our lifetime. We're going to break our addiction to fossil fuels. We're going to get a lot closer to the sustainable world that Peter challenged us to meet. This is within reach. This is something that we can do, but it's the people at Amazon Watch who will help to make it happen. So I hope that you will invest in those people. Write a check tonight, make a credit card contribution, add a couple zeros, and thank you all for your support.
I'm almost done. So I'm not levying a challenge to you that I don't levy to myself, first and foremost. In my other life, I'm a Zen Buddhist priest. And for Zen Buddhists, the entire web of life is one indivisible network. It's all conjoined. There's no place to stand outside it. So the reason that I share with you that I'm the problem, that you're the problem, that we're the problem, is because it's useful. It takes away self-righteousness. We understand that the people with whom we're fighting are not the embodiment of evil. They're just like us. They fear dying, they run toward what they love. And to the extent that we remember that when we fight them, we don't strip them of their humanity, and we don't lose our own. That's useful. And it's also useful to look deep and hard at my own life and say, okay, if I'm the problem, what can I give up for the Kayapo? What can I give up for the Amazon? Can I lower my standard of living by 10%, by 15%? I'm somewhere around 50% this year. It's no more, no less. There's some people that can't do 5% because they're on the edge. But simply to ask the questions before you make any decision is of great utility and great practice. And so please ask that today when you consider what Richard's going to tell you, and you write a check or you give a donation. Thank you so much.
Wow, 2 tough acts to follow. I am so filled with gratitude to be up here and to do the work that we do, both at Global Green and at Amazon Watch. It's just amazing. I'm so lucky. The work that Amazon Watch is doing is truly amazing. And I can tell you that they've re-granted $1.6 million to indigenous organizations. I can tell you that they've held 9 occupations at the Belamanchi Dam. And I can go on and on and on with their accomplishments. But what we really need is for you to consider an investment in a world that you want your children to live in. I think that's worth repeating. What we really need is for you to consider an investment in a world that you want your children to live in. We are inviting you to be financial investors in Amazon Watch. Some of you have been expecting this ask, and some of you are surprised by it. But frankly, we can't do this work without the funds that you give us. So table captains, please take out those envelopes and pass the pledge forms around to everybody at the table. Hopefully we all have pens. And take a few moments to read the form and consider what you would like to invest in Amazon Watch. What can you do to make a difference right now? 3 years ago, we focused on a 3-year pledge, and we had a huge boost when some of you committed to invest for 3 years. I'd like to ask you to do that again. Those gifts enable us to plan further and go farther. Or please consider a monthly amount. You can write a check. You can use your credit card. You can also change or stop your monthly payment anytime if your circumstances change. So don't have any fear about doing it now. Whatever amount that you decide, I want you to think about an amount that is significant to you and that you think will make a difference in the Amazon. A few of you in this room have the capability to give at our Executive Leadership Council level. That's $50,000. I'm asking the few of you in this room that can do that to please do that. This gives you a seat at the table. It lets you meet annually with the executive director. This amount of money can put a campaigner on the ground annually. $25,000 can create 2 Indigenous leadership gatherings a year. Really important. $10,000 a year helps to put staff in the field to work directly with partners and help strengthen the blockades. $5,000 a year helps 2 staffers in Brazil just to cover expenses. $2,500 gets 1 staff member to the Amazon to make a critical difference to the people there. $1,000 provides transportation and accommodations for the staffers. And $500 can help make a huge banner like the one that we did that said, "Fire Watson, the CEO of Chevron." Again, consider a monthly amount. Consider a 3-year pledge. So please take your time, fill out the form legibly, and I really want you to make a difference now. And also now I'd like to introduce Kat Taylor, the co-founder of One Pacific Coast Bank, to tell you a little bit about how they feel partnering with Amazon Watch.
Thank you. You're so beautiful, so dang beautiful. My name's Kat Taylor. I'm co-founder and CEO of One Pacific Coast Bank, and you are beautiful. I'm here to talk about the launch today of Amazon Watch's Affinity Credit Card. One Pacific Coast Bank is a triple bottom line bank located in Oakland, but serving the 3 West Coast states of our bioregion here. The triple bottom line mandates that we deliver social justice and environmental well-being at the same time that we're financially sustainable. The economic interests of our bank are owned entirely by our foundation, and all profits must be reinvested in the low-income communities that we serve and the environment that we depend upon. It's a really different bank. So what about credit cards is relevant today? Well, the new Amazon Watch credit card allows you to achieve 3 benefits with every purchase you make, including the donations that we hope you're making to Amazon Watch right now. When you have an Amazon Watch credit card, you are aligning your spending with 2 banks, TCM, the backing bank, and ours, that are mission consistent with Amazon Watch. We are a triple bottom line bank, remember, and our profits go back to the environment. We are not meddling in lending practices that tear down the rainforest. Secondly, we contribute a significant share of the interchange revenue back to Amazon Watch, so it's a resiliency strategy for them. Your donation keeps on giving with every purchase that you make. And finally, if you think about it, this is a consumer revolution akin to the obstruction, protests, all the other activism that goes on to stop the destruction of the rainforest. Because when you deprive those other big banks of this very important fee revenue, they are going to increase the costs of their business of doing those things through their financing that are so devastating for the rainforest. And eventually they will have to make that economic calculus. Are we losing more through our lost credit card revenues than we're gaining in these pernicious lending practices? So if you all band together, get an Amazon Watch credit card, you're going to get 3 benefits for every charge. Take charge of your card and get rid of all those other nasty ones, and use your Amazon Watch card for everything. That's what we call beneficial banking. And to close, oh, 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 you deserve a card like this. Let me hear you say, oh, 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 you deserve a card like this. Thanks.
How good was that? Wow. Have you ever heard a banker sing before? That was amazing. So every dollar that you give helps strengthen Amazon Watch and helps us do our work and helps the people of the Amazon. Here's an important point. Fill in your contact information, not just the amount and your credit card number, but your contact information, please. Other things that we are doing that you can really make a difference in are many. One is we are looking for support to fund a series of clean energy PSAs in Brazil with some celebrities. Christian will be going to Brazil to help with production, and it needs to be done ahead of the World Cup, which will be in Brazil next year. Each of these PSAs costs $20,000, and we're planning 3 of them, so we need $60,000. So maybe someone wants to sponsor all those PSAs. Also, taking indigenous leaders to oil company shareholder meetings led to great success in Peru last year. That cost $5,000 a person. And those of you watching online right now, every donation that comes in online will be matched by the Kindle Project Fund of the Common Council Foundation and up to $10,000. So if you're online right now, please donate. And that's it. It's up to you to help us help the people of the Amazon. And in yoga, we say Hari Om, all is one. Thank you very much.
They told me they didn't really have time for a song. Do we have time for a song? Yes. I am not a singer, but I wanted to do this song, which is a prayer, and it's a song I wrote with a friend while we were navigating the Xingu River, and I wanted to sing for Mayalu to honor her presence here. Obrigada, amiga, por estar aqui. And also in honor to the Xingu River, the beautiful people from the Amazon, and to honor all of you as well. If you're filling your cards, keep filling it. If you're not, close your eyes. If you already did, close your eyes and travel with me to the Amazon. Tu estás lapidando, tu estás sufocando, tu não pode escalar, Xingu, Xingu. Nós te escutamos chorando, eles estão te calando, mas tu não pode escalar, Xingu, Xingu, Xingu. Xingu. Povos da terra, povos das águas, unam-se todos lutar pela beleza de suas terras, de suas águas, não se deixem calar. Nasceu das entranhas da terra encantada, beleza infinita pelas matas guardada, suas águas profundas, espelhos do céu, sempre escondem segredos de um infinito véu. Vem lavando as mágoas e levando os medos, nos deixando mais fortes para lutar até a morte. A Amazônia sagrada, com seu lindo esplendor, terra abençoada pelo sol com amor. Povos da terra, povos das águas, unam-se todos, vamos lutar pela beleza de suas terras, de suas águas, não se deixem calar, Xingu, tu não podes calar, Xingu, Xingu. Thank you all.
Oh. So, I hope you were inspired. You can see we pulled out all the stops today. I think we put something in the water. Some of you might want more inspiration, and I'm glad that we've created a new program where we actually take you down to the Amazon with us to go and visit people like the children of the jaguar, the people in Sarayaku, and stay with them in their home, to see for yourself the destruction that Chevron Texaco left behind in their wake, to meet with Amazonian experts to teach you about the plants and the animals, and to really go deep. So I would love for you to join me. I'm going in November. Who wants to come? Yeah? Okay, come see me afterwards. Still a few seats left. Mayra, thank you. I got all these crazy chills. I also wanted to say thanks to our sponsors. I know that Brandon, the other Brandon, was going to pop some logos up there on the screen just to make sure that you all get those embedded firmly in your minds, because those people made it possible for us to kick this off today. And I hope everybody back home online remembers that this is their big chance to double their donations, right? Y'all remembered. And Michael Zapp, you virtual Amazon Watch master, anything on the website, anything live, he's behind it. So big thanks for Michael Zapp for pulling it all together all the time. I also want to thank the AV setup today. It was brought to us by Enhanced Lighting. These guys were here yesterday all day, and they've been here all day today to bring this to you for free for us. So thanks. We're going to be at Bioneers, so if you want some more Amazon Watch, please be there. That, of course, is happening October 18th through 21st. If you haven't been to Bioneers, stop that. Go to Bioneers this year. It's an incredible, cup-filling, inspiring love fest of hope, and it's a lot of fun. Great after parties, too. We'll also be at the Green Festival, so we hope to see you there. That's in November, I think the second week of November, second weekend? The 9th and 10th. Thank you, the 9th and 10th of November. See you there. I think we're kind of there. I hope you guys won't run off without handing in your contributions and pledge forms. And I hope you won't run off if you don't have to be somewhere, because our friends at Guayaquil Yerba Mate, Pisco Porton, and Thanksgiving Coffee have provided lovely libations, and there are delicious desserts. And you'll have a chance to meet the staff and the board of Amazon Watch and to meet Mayalu and give her a big hug. So I hope you'll stick around. We're also having the Yas Unidos TwitPic photo campaign, where we're letting Rafael Correa, Ecuador's president, know how we feel about his decision to not keep the oil in the soil. So we're going to turn that around, and you can do that by getting your picture taken with one of the signs. So make sure you do that before you go. I think I've covered everything. I love you people. You're beautiful. This room feels so much better than it did when we got here and there was nobody here. You guys feel good. I also want to say thanks on behalf of Amazon Watch. You guys make us possible. Someone was saying, how many of you are there? And I said, well, on a good day, maybe 12. Normally, kind of 8. Sometimes we have contractors, and then we get people who come in, and we have some interns. But she said, I thought you were going to say you were like 800 people. That's got to be a record, right, that one? So we are tiny and really effective, as you've heard. So that's only possible because you're a part of us. So thank you all. And thank you for coming here today. And thank you, everyone, for making this possible. Thank you. Hand those pledge forms in and come have some coffee and dessert with us.